All right, so today we're doing a cocktail called the Ciro's Special. This comes from the Beach Bumberry Grog Log, which is something that I said I would be bartending my way through, and I'm doing it in a very, very slow fashion. My name's Leandro Riva. This is The Educated Barfly. You have a gigantic head. You are also a fantastic mixologist. The question that I have is like, do I have a gigantic head in size? Or does it mean that I have a gigantic ego? I don't know.
But you'd make a good bobblehead.
Let's get into making the cocktail. This kind of caught my eye and I was inspired to do it because of the Being the Ricardos on Amazon. I was watching that movie, which is a pretty fantastic movie. You guys should see it. But what's cool about it is that there's a shot of Ciro's, this nightclub Ciro's, which is a really, really important 1940s Hollywood hang. I've never tasted this cocktail before. This is gonna be a first. We're gonna see if it's fantastic or terrible. And then we'll talk a little bit about the history because it's all tied in with the mob and there's all sorts of fun stuff having to do with this particular cocktail and restaurant. All right, so I always like to grab these first, but really what I need is this and that. So we're gonna be cutting up our lime here.
You know that famous line from Lucy? Lucy, you've got some splaining to do.
Yeah, everyone knows that line.
Yeah, everyone knows the line, but it was never in the show. There's not a single episode that has that line.
But then when did that line come about?
I don't know.
Afterward?
Nobody, I don't think nobody.
Was it a parody on SNL or something and then it caught on or something?
Or it could have been used on a promo or something, but it's never in any of the episodes.
Right, I said, was it a parody on SNL? Even though SNL wasn't a thing till the 70s.
Yeah, but it could have been.
It could have been, yeah. It could have been like a more recent.
Or it's one of those.
So wait, nobody knows where that came from?
Yeah.
Nobody knows. Like, have you researched it?
I've looked it up, and yeah, it was never in the show, and it's unclear where and why that came about.
Wow, I never knew that.
There might be like a little.
It has to be from a parody.
Or a promo or something. Yeah.
But where did you learn about it is the question. Because like, I can't even, like I've heard that before, but I cannot pinpoint what it was that actually quoted that or like where I got it from.
What?
The line. You've got some splaining to do. Like I know that that's a thing, but I cannot tell you where I first heard it.
No, people have just been saying, so, Lucy, you got some splaining to do.
So I think it's just something that people made up, and then it just caught on.
Why? And
but everybody thinks it's because it's funny and it sounds like something Ricky Ricardo would say. Right. I don't know. All right.
Or it's the Mandela effect. And this actually happened, but in the universe.
Right. 1 ounce of lime juice into this cocktail. And that was exactly 1 ounce. I love it when that happens. 3/4 of an ounce of creme de cassis. Poured out of this little weird top. I gotta say, this cocktail is somewhat like a daisy, meaning that it gets all of its sweetness from the sugar inside the liqueurs, and it doesn't actually have any sugar. I'm gonna tell you that, to me, I think that this is gonna be overly tart. And we're gonna do 1/4 of an ounce of Grand Marnier. 1.5 ounces of Jamaican rum. We're using Appleton's Signature. That's the second time I've done that today. Let me just pick it up and put it in the dump bucket so that it doesn't melt and make a mess. We're gonna add our cocktail into our tin like so, and give it a shake. And we're just gonna strain it. That's some nice froth there. That's some nice aeration of that lime. Thank you to Cometeer for sponsoring this video. Cometeer offers super high quality, convenient pour over coffee delivered in curbside recyclable containers. Each capsule is flash frozen at peak freshness. All you have to do is pop one inside your cup, add 6 to 8 ounces of water, and watch it melt for the perfect cup of coffee. I am not a black coffee kind of guy, I never have been. I've always had to have cream and sugar. This is the one coffee that I don't have to have cream and sugar with. I can drink it black and it's freaking amazing. Cometeer is also a company that we should all be supporting because everything in their supply chain is sustainability focused. From their packaging to the aluminum pods are recyclable, and they even compost the grounds that their coffee is made from. no matter how hard I try, I can't make an iced latte at home that tastes any good. And so I end up having to go to my local coffee shop and buy an iced latte. But they've got a method for making an iced latte, which is fantastic. So I don't have to go to my coffee shop. I can save money. I don't have to use any equipment. That's it. Iced latte, done. So click the link below and get $20 off your first Cometeer order. Let's give it the old sippy pants. You know, it's pretty good, but it's just a little thin. You know, the thing about cocktails that have simple syrup is that you get texture from it and it thickens it up a little bit, but it's actually pretty balanced. It's not overly tart, it's pretty good. You know, the lime is really dominant, and then you get a lot of that creme de cassis. The Jamaican rum's kind of playing a supporting role in there, but you're getting a little bit of the funk, and the Grand Marnier is adding a little bit of oranginess to it.
Is this a tiki?
This was out of Beach Bum Berry's Grog Log,
Right.
but it's a 1940s drink. The thing that I've realized about like Jeff Berry's Grog Log is that a lot of it is tiki, but some of it is just mid-century cocktails. This, I guess, would fall into the mid-century cocktails. So this is the house cocktail of a restaurant called Ciro's, which was on the Sunset Strip. It opened in 1940. It occupies, for those of you guys that know LA, it occupies where is now the Comedy Store. And it was owned by this guy named William Wilkerson. So William Wilkerson is a really interesting guy. He was the most powerful Hollywood player that didn't own a studio. Do you know what he did, Marius? He was a very kind of behind the scenes sort of dude. Not a lot of people know who he is. Guess. Most powerful guy in Hollywood in 1940 that didn't own a studio. What did he do other than open this restaurant? He owned the Hollywood Reporter. So he was the founder of the Hollywood Reporter, which he founded in 1930, and he spent his entire career either suppressing or publishing career-threatening stories about stars. So basically, most stars were sort of at his whim. Is it fair to say that in 1940, most stars were sort of crooked and dirty in some way? I kind of feel like all of them sort of had like every single one of these stars sort of had these very tragic kind of lives. You know, like all the Harrell portraits, you know, people, like they all just had these really tragic lives and they were kind of controlled by the studio system, right? So all of them were like fucking each other, all of them were like fucking each other over, and then they had this guy, William Wilkerson, who was coming and basically threatening their careers. Now, I'm pretty sure that this had a lot to do with money, and so he would probably gain money for suppressing stories. So he owned 3 restaurants on the Sunset Strip. He owned Ciro's, then he owned a place called the Trocadero and La Rue. All of them kind of had mob interests, and the thing is that Ciro's was so popular in its time that a lot of stars would forego their PR person and they would actually just show up at Ciro's on a Friday or Saturday night to get all the press that they needed in the Hollywood trades. So as time went on, William Wilkerson started to develop a place called the Flamigo in Vegas, and he ran out of money and he had to sell his interest, and some people say that he was muscled into selling his interest or giving up his interest to Bugsey Segal. He was also a guy that hung out with a lot of mobsters, like Mickey Cohen, who has a very long history at Cole's French Dip, so I'm very familiar with Mickey Cohen and kind of his LA. And yeah, I don't know. All of that's pretty interesting, but I think that's all of the history on this. Well, there you go, guys. Ciro's special. And don't forget, if you want this coupe, I've been getting a lot of messages from people about where I get this glassware. Well, we have been making it with a company called Amela. We have done a little collaboration with them. You can get these glasses in sets of 2, and they come plain like this, or they have a honeycomb etched pattern, which is pretty cool as well. So check those out. The links to the Amazon store are below. Now see you guys another time. If you like this channel, hit like, hit subscribe, check us out on Patreon and YouTube memberships. I want to thank all of our patrons and YouTube members for doing your part in helping this channel really be what it is. We really appreciate it, and we are very, very grateful. And then what else? We got a website you should check out, theeducatedbarfly.com, for, I don't know, articles, our virtual bottle program. All of our recipes are on there. It's a pretty cool website. Go check it out, and I will see you guys on another time. And you just make noise at the end of it.
Loving that.
It's like a weird top.
Oh,
like
I thought it.
No, it's a
came
weird.
off.
No, it's a weird top. It's like a weird pour spout top.
Did he disappear, or he just died?
No, he just died. He didn't disappear or anything.
He didn't end up in the
not in the old
Hoover Dam.
Well, in the old what?
What was to become the Hoover Dam?
Yeah, he didn't end up there, and they didn't fit him with a couple of cement shoes or anything.
Mm-hmm.
No Chicago necktie for him. You know what that is?
Yeah,
Chicago necktie.
Throat.
Yeah, cut your throat and pull your. Yeah, it's gross. I don't know why we're talking about that. All right, well there you go, guys. Ciro's special.
There's also a word for the cement shoes too. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, like a like a term for it.
Yeah, when they go sleeping with the fishes.
Yeah.